Hi, my name is Hannah, and today we're interviewing Christophe. Originally from France, he is now based in Singapore. Christophe is the managing director of a precious metal trading platform indexed to Forex, a platform that gives direct access to physical allocated bars at the Forex price. Today, he gives us his view on key trends as we emerge into post-pandemic world.
This podcast channel is about you, successful international entrepreneurs, successful expats, successful investors. Sponsored by HCJ.tax.
Morning, Christophe. How are you today?
Good morning, Derren. I'm fine. And today it's another day, so
Yeah.
let's start something. And I'm starting with you, so it's good.
All right, fantastic. It's been a long time since we spoke. Good to see you again. Can you please introduce yourself to those who may be watching or listening?
So my name is Christophe Numa. I'm currently managing director of Bunker Gold and Silver. It's investing platform in physical allocated gold as the most competitive price and the safest way to invest. And currently, this is what I'm doing. Before, I was based in France, in Russia, in Kazakhstan, because I'm French. And used to work in the wealth management industry, like BNP Paribas. And right now I'm in Singapore almost for 5 years. So everything is good, yeah.
Okay. And so far, so good. So that's quite a journey, Kazakhstan, right? I mean, you've seen a bit of the world.
Yeah, actually, it's true that I started very early to travel for business purpose, but not only a business purpose, I will say value purpose, like humanitarian project, because before I was in Mexico managing a project for dam water, drinkable water in some countries, in some part of exactly it was Veracruz, now our region. And after that, yes, I decided to enter in the industry of wealth management with BNP Paribas, as I mentioned earlier. But I wanted to continue abroad. I started to have this feeling of abroad, and I decided, yes, to go to Kazakhstan and Russia. To CIS countries, to manage some business there. I did that during 4 or 5 years. And after I got opportunity to go in this business of gold, but this was also for, as I said, a vision that I still have about how to invest and how to be free with your investment. And this gold was really typical, the really interesting things for me. To invest out of the banking system, out of the financial way, and I decided to join the trend, and it's okay. Now this is what I'm doing, and now I'm developing this business, or as I said, 5 years, and we are doing well. Especially right now. Okay, I guess that we will talk about, but we are doing well.
Okay, that's fantastic. So it's good that you've not just traveled in so many regions in the world, but you've actually worked there. So, it's different traveling as a tourist and daily grind, day to day trying to get stuff done. So you've seen, many, what for us right now, quite critical geographies you spend time in, substantial time. And then you're dealing with an industry which is quite topical right now. So that means you bring a powerful perspective, I think. So given what we're going through right now, of course, everyone says it's unprecedented, all these cliches. What do you see are the big changes that we need to pay attention to?
Okay. I will talk about in terms of investment first.
Yeah, of course.
And and after about gold specifically, but so it's true that, okay, we know about COVID, we know, because pandemic, I mean, epidemic, the world already has known many of them, it's true. But now I'm talking about this topical subject. And for what I saw, gold really came right now like the asset to have or to get. And I will explain why it's came like that. And it's also, I will explain why, because on my the way of investment, why it's also a really interesting asset right now. And the limits, the drawback that we face is to get this goal. So when you talk about this crisis that we are experiencing, you will understand that the goal is the asset just because it fulfills all the requirements to be safe and to make returns. This is the fact. Say, you can be safe because you are investing in an asset which store your value. First. You can be safe because the gold is convertible in all the currencies. So it means that you can have USD, you can have Euro, you can have RMB. You can be safe because also you can carry this gold, or if you are not carrying, you can do what we call swap location. So meaning that you have your gold here, and you will just say, okay, I will take the gold in another country by telling another broker, okay, can you just do the exchange? So it has also an international and fungible way where you can invest. And also for people who do invest for speculations to make more return, you have volatility right now on the market. So we can see that from the beginning, from the beginning of the year, it's like plus 15 or 17%. If it's year to date, it's plus 25%. So, and it's like going down, but still the trend is up. So for people who want to enter the market to play the volatility, it's perfect. For people who want to store their value, it's perfect. So this is the asset to have. But what I saw, that the asset to have, gold or precious metals, is also right now one of the most difficult assets to get. And I'm talking about physically. Why I'm saying that is because, of course, if people want to invest in the market with paper gold, they can do. They can trade paper, what we call paper, which is not physical. But the fact is that there is so much more paper and so much less, not physical, that for people to get the physical, it's a really difficult thing. Meaning that when someone asks, after buying paper in some contract, as we call them, contract in COMEX or other futures, they ask for the delivery, they will not get the gold. And in this situation right now, crisis COVID, it gets more difficult just because logistic transport doesn't work as it used to.
It doesn't work.
Yes. Logistic transport doesn't work. This means that to get the gold, you have to take it from the mines everywhere in the world, of course, South America, Africa, mainly because Asia, China does not sell its gold, but abroad. But to get this gold, you see, send it to Europe to refine it, to give him some purity, credibility on the international market. And right now, the logistics transport is broken for many reasons. And the main one is because you cannot go by plane are not working. So you cannot access. And it's became really interesting to see that the price you see on the market, on the international market, if you are going to the international market, you will see the price of gold. It's not the price that people are paying in the streets. So, and this is really interesting, and this is how you understand also what will be next for tomorrow and why you should invest right now in gold. So for my business investment wise, I will say that investing in gold right now is one of the smartest moves that people can do, because it's definitely true that it will become more difficult to get it. And because of a lot of people buying paper golds understood that they cannot have the gold physically, more people will come to directly have the physical, but it will not be able to get them. So what will be the future for my humble point of view? It will be that less people, or okay, maybe the same number of people on paper gold, but they will ask for sure, I want it 100% back by gold. So it means that all these COMEX or all these exchange will buy also more gold to get back their financial product with gold. And so this is the first point. It will be more difficult to access your gold, and also you will have it as an edge against different crises. And I guess we are going to tend to more physical and less paper. This is what I can say.
Okay. So in terms of the logistics, though, I mean, I was under the impression that, okay, for passenger or, just regular civilian transport, yes, there's been severe travel disruptions. But in terms of cargo, I still get my FedEx packages. Amazon is still delivering. How is it that precious metals is being disrupted? Don't they use cargo planes as well?
Okay, this is first of all, logistics transport for gold used commercial flights.
Oh, I see.
This is a fact. Oh. So no planes, no gold. But there is other ways. You mentioned it. Cargo, and we can go even further. It will be private company, private jet. Cargo, not, as I said, mainly all the carriers are on commercial flights, so they did not do all the process or the KYC process, account opening process to have cargo. So when the crisis happened, they cannot enter in the cargo because they did not open an account before. And to open an account, usually it's like 6 months. It could take 6 months. So no, it's not an option. So the one who already has a cargo, because some of them had the cargo options or cargo, they are the ones continuing to do the transportation. After, you have also the big major company of mining who has their own jet. Or who can afford to have their own jet. But the fact is, a big part of the productions is also coming from small, medium scale mining. And usually what will happen, these big companies, these big miners having a jet or having some access to the airport or to the plane, they will not allow the small and medium scales mining to get in with them. So you will have a lot of gold staying in the country of production with the miner, just because they cannot access with the big mines. They cannot access the... Actually, it's interesting because it means that like the big mines are doing this, saying, okay, now you cannot access the plane. I will not let you access my plane. Your gold will stay there, and I will be the only one selling gold outside. And this is what's happened right now in this situation. Yeah, definitely.
But it's I would imagine it's temporary. Well, depending on how things turn out. But before we go there, I'm thinking that with the great financial crisis, 2008, 2009, and then in the early teens, when we have some uncertainty in Europe, we've seen uncertainty where there's a flight to safety with precious metals, and it becomes a bigger part of some people, their portfolio, and then they unwind when things return to normal. Do you see this being just a temporary blip, or do you see something that tells you, you know what, this is a more sustained increase in interest and investment in precious metals?
It could be a temporary investment or just right now. But the fact is to find the solutions that the government found to eradicate this problem or this crisis is to print money.
Yeah, yeah.
And printing of money is right now, but will continue. It means that we will have to pay. When I'm looking at the GDP of USA, and I saw how many trillions they did print out of nowhere, people will not. Of course, they will not give back this money right now. You will have to pay this debt for long, and I guess that we are entering in this period where the gold will really take its value investment. So when I'm saying that, it means that for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we will have this. This is why I'm saying it's an investment to have right now, because you protect yourself right now by storing the value, but you are also protecting yourself for the future value. And yeah, definitely, I don't think it's only temporary. It's right now.
Okay. So
just to give you also an idea, at the peak of the crisis, the price of gold on the market was 1,825, 2050. But yeah, now it's 1,000, almost 800. So we already are like the peak of 2008 in terms of price, and we already not are like the peak of the crisis here right now. So just be ready for that.
Okay, so you see it's the beginning of a more sustained push. Now, we mentioned China, and I know like in Asia, two of the more popular locations for storage would be Singapore and Hong Kong. Is there any, not that you are, I'm not saying whether or not you have storage in Hong Kong. I'm just thinking with the uncertainty in Hong Kong, do you think that casts any doubt on the stability or the confidence in Hong Kong as a jurisdiction for storage of wealth?
First, we do have storage in Europe, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, in South Africa, so we do have storage everywhere in the world. So this is now going back to Hong Kong. So yes, we do have storage in Hong Kong. Yes, this situation is tense. Okay, we will not talk about politics, but we know what happened right now. We see it, and in terms of fact, what I can say is we notice it by the incoming flow of wealth, meaning that people moving their assets. People saying, okay, I will buy gold, but don't store it here, store it in Singapore, or even store it in Switzerland. But usually for people in Hong Kong, it will be Singapore. So right now we can see that, and of course people are worried. It's a normal feelings to be worried when you see what happened in the country right now. And so this is what I can say. I don't know for what will be in the future for Hong Kong. What I can say is we do have this option. This option is still there, but right now people are putting putting their gold or money in another country. This is for sure, and we can see. And yeah, we did have an increase of clients. I will not say they all are from Hong Kong. I will say they are from the region, but usually they use also to put some money in Hong Kong. But now it will be clear.
Understood. Now, just stepping back and looking at the broader economy beyond precious metals, there's been some observers say that in terms of portfolio investment, Asia is less attractive relative to previously because to some extent the Asia story was a China story. So to the extent that there was a lot of accelerated growth in China, in Southeast Asia, or to be fair, all the way down to Australia and New Zealand, they were riding on the coattails of that rapid growth story in China. And if it is, and pre-pandemic, China was already slowing down. So the pandemic may have arguably slowed down the rate of growth. I mean, it's still growing, but at a slower rate. And as a result, at least some portfolio investors may have been repositioning, rebalancing, and looking back at Europe, North America, some other jurisdictions. Do you see that in the world of precious metals that, yes, you have both Singapore and Hong Kong, and we've already explored Hong Kong, but has Singapore been impacted as people perhaps think, Switzerland, they've been around for a really long time, nothing could go wrong, I want to put my stuff there?
Okay, I will say it also in another way. What I saw first, and this is also in Singapore, I guess maybe the same in Hong Kong, it's a lot of people I know first, and also from friends who have friends, who can notice that a lot of people decided to go back to Europe or to their countries.
Yes.
So this is the first thing. But they still are waiting to see what they will do with their gold. So the gold is in Singapore. They decide to go back in Europe or in other countries.
Oops. And we've had a freeze.
No problem for that. They just keep in mind, that they can have another location. This is an option for them. But for now, maybe people are leaving the country or going back to their home country. But the wealth for now, what I saw, we don't have a huge move of the wealth outside of Singapore. But it's true that Switzerland, when you come to Europe, it will be Switzerland as the first place in your mind and for sure for precious metal, it's the first place, definitely. There is no question about that. So this is what I can say. But right now, I cannot say that I can see a trend of people taking their assets going back to Europe, even if they themselves are going back to Europe.
So I guess in that sense, it's kind of like a wait and see. But in terms of the movement of that high net worth individual, you're seeing that Europe is becoming a more attractive option for some people, anecdotally, just in general. Or do you think maybe it's temporary as well? Singapore's kind of small, the condos aren't that big. So you think, I'll go back to my home in Europe. I have space outside and I'll wait it out until things return to whatever the new normal is. And then maybe I'll come back. Which one is it? Is it a short term or long term?
For people, you mean?
Yeah, people. Yeah.
Oh, we are in Singapore, so usually when you leave the country, you are not sure really that you will be able to come back. Yeah. So when people are doing this step, usually it's, okay, we know that we may not come back, we are ready to stay back in Europe. We have that in mind as foreigner living in the country. So, and also when they have all the family, they go back and they decide also to stay, because for the children to stay, to have some stability with the school and so on. So they prefer to say, okay, it's a move and we will be there. So after, in terms of, there is many factors. There is many factors why. One of them is actually, yes, during this pandemic, we saw that we have to be closer for some of us to our friends, parents, and so on. We also saw that it's the best move it could be. Okay, as I said, we will not talk about the politics, but how people just have this impression that okay, it's better for me to be in my country in this kind of. So yes, but as I said again, for the wealth, it still stays in Singapore. And why also that? It's because they know that very quickly they can move if needed or with these assets. So this is it.
Understood. So let's move away from China and let's talk a bit about India. You know, India has a reputation for being one of the biggest consumer markets for gold in particular. Are you seeing any traction, any activity unusual in that space?
Okay. When you are talking about gold market, it's true, but you have two kinds of gold. Let's say like that. Gold market. You will have the investment gold market. So I invest in gold as an investment in the international market, typically bars or coins, or I invest in gold by buying jewelry. So it's a different kind of things.
Okay.
So it's really not. So it's true that India is the biggest market consuming gold because for jewelry, mostly for that actually, for jewelry, and but not for the investment purpose. And after, in India, you still have many taxes that you will not have in most of the countries for entering the market gold.
Okay.
So actually, right now, we are not targeting India. Actually, we are targeting Indians, not India.
Right.
That we have people from India, from Sri Lanka, having account in Singapore. So we will target them. But the idea is not to open in India, right now this is not the idea because the conditions are not required for that. But yeah, if at the beginning it's Indian coming in Singapore, no problem. And maybe after, when the condition will be open for India, it will be definitely a huge market to see. Yeah.
Okay, we've spoken a lot about gold. What about other metals like silver? I know some people are really more excited about silver than gold. Yeah.
It's true because if you want to play volatility, if you want to play the return, just by investing, silver, if you want to do a go and out and in and out and in and out, silver is really nice for that. The volatility of silver is really huge. But right now, another one, it's platinum.
Wow.
And for me, and this is why I'm saying that this is the best investment when you are in the precious metals. You are investing in physical, so you have it. You are investing in something liquid, so you can sell it fast. And you are investing with some assets which can give you returns by the volatility and also storing your value if you decide to have a long-term vision. No, okay, let's do. So this is why precious metals are really the best asset. And for each precious metals, you will have a different kind of perspective. And yeah, for me, this is why I do focus on these assets. Even if I know that you have also the stocks, the bitcoins, and so on, but they all are immaterials. And if the exchange tomorrow just stop, everything stop more or less. Let's say like that. For precious metals, gold, you even do not need a real exchange to sell your physical, because also you have your bullion dealer, you have the refineries, you have people, you have the banks. So everybody is buying. So yeah, so this is for me a really, really interesting asset for that.
Okay. Christophe, you've been very, very helpful bringing a lot of insight into what's happening right now. And I think for me, the takeaway is that this is not another blip potentially, that what we're seeing is a long-term shift. And as a result, now is the time to get on board. Christophe, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Derren. Have a nice day.
All right.